Take my hand, yeah, take my hand. Follow me, follow me, yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Happy Saturday, digital family. Welcome back to my YouTube cookout, where we discuss Atlanta Season 3, Episode 7, Trini to the bone. This was an interesting one, but before we get into it, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the page on your way in, and that way we can build a bigger community, exchange more perspectives on entertainment, life, culture, and everything in between. Okay. All season long, these writers have been teasing us with implying that there are supernatural forces that may be a part of an upcoming storyline. There's been talks of ghosts and haunted buildings, but we haven't seen anything outside of the creepy picture in Nando's that brought anything to fruition. Well, we do finally get that element come to light with this episode. More on that later. This is an offshoot episode that takes us away from the crew to examine another example of how life is viewed through these melanin lenses. I do feel like this story is focused on showing how our impact and contributions are often overlooked and not acknowledged until we're dead. So we get brought into, serve a specific purpose, but we never truly are embraced as an extension of the family or society overall. Sylvia, who is our main character and a beautiful Trini queen, she never says a word until the end, but you do feel her presence throughout every scene. Her energy is undeniable. Sylvia's story is a celebration and a standing ovation for all of the nannies and housekeepers during slavery times and beyond that sacrificed time with their own children in order to ensure their family's survival overall. It focuses on a very affluent family of three living in New York City. There's a husband that seems to be pretty open to Black culture to the point of being fascinated by it. The wife is a corporate ladder climber that's focused on her son's progression in business more than anything he's actually really focused in on, like what he likes to eat, all those important things. And then we have this wonderful kid. His name is Sebastian. Seems like an old soul that's deeply, deeply influenced by Trinidad Black culture. And that kid that played Sebastian is outstanding. He's absolutely great. I'd love to see him perform in anything else. I'm in. I'm all in with that kid. We do begin to see the depths of Sylvia's influence on Sebastian starting to kind of come to the surface when one morning she wasn't able to show up for work. We come to find out that she's passed. And this news sets off a whole chain of events that reveal truly how much these parents don't know about their child and how Sylvia was really not valued in their family as much as she should have been. First of all, these parents are terrible, and they're definitely the poster children for bad parents. They obviously didn't do anything that they were supposed to be doing. Like, they didn't interact with their kid at school or take him to school. They had no awareness of what he was eating. I mean, Sylvia changed this kid's whole palate. I mean, they were absolutely clueless that this baby had been attending Black church and understood all the protocols. Sylvia had obviously integrated him into aspects of her family and her culture so much that he actually began to bond with some of her family members. I mean, it was absolutely crazy how much Sylvia had really influenced this kid, but in a good way, I think. But sadly, I think that, these parents kind of represent a section of society where children are basically an accessory. They're not really something they're looking to be involved in. They're just something to kind of have. For example, just these terrible parents, they had a family picture day at school, and these parents did not show up. Like, who doesn't show up for family picture day? That's kind of the whole point. Anyway, Sylvia shows up. And the mother got annoyed at a teacher asking her when she did show up, when Sylvia wasn't able to, why she wasn't at picture day. She wasn't annoyed or feeling apologetic like, damn, I ain't make it picture day. She was more annoyed like, what are you asking me that for? This is ridiculous. It's only picture day. So again, I think that these are the type of parents that kind of provide a really great life for their kid while kind of pawning him off to various individuals to watch them while they continue their life pursuits. But on the surface, it looks like they're a happy family that loves each other and interacts with each other. But in reality, they don't even really take the time out to get to know their kid. And that's kind of what they're showing you in that. Now, they do end up taking Sebastian to the funeral for Sylvia, and they get caught up in Black people. And you hear me? They took him to a Black funeral, and that in itself, was absolutely hysterical. We basically had all of the elements of the Black funeral that we see. We had the take me with you lady trying to get into the casket. You got the one family member that thinks the deceased could have done more for them, and they decide to tell you in grand detail what that's all about. And then you got the family members that don't like each other and feel like this is the appropriate time in which they should punch each other in the head. All these elements were there, and these parents were absolutely traumatized, while old soul Sebastian understood the assignment and was obviously comfortable in this curry flavored chaos. It was absolutely hilarious for that scene. My closing observations for this one is Sebastian is life. He looks like he wanted more of that spicy mangy curry that he asked for in terms of that. They called him what, curry mouth and everything. I mean, she changed this kid's whole palate, but I loved him because his demeanor was super calm and I loved his smile. And he just basically was really comfortable with all of that black magic that he was ingesting. He is absolutely my favorite character. I want more of Bash. He knows me hard. They had that man watching the Proud Family while eating curry mango. Man, listen. Anyway, the wife, truly a savage on every level. She shows absolutely no empathy towards Sylvia's absence. She doesn't say, hey, I hope she's okay. Man, I wonder why she's running late. Anything like that. There was just nothing. She seems way more agitated because she's being inconvenienced. So it just only goes to show you that Sylvia was a utility in their lives, a cog in the system of her life that was required to show she could function fully in terms of that. So the mother repeatedly shows that she does not care about Sylvia's overall well-being. Like for instance, the daughter invites them to the wake and says, hey, we're family now. And the mother's like, yeah, Sylvia was so much a part of our son's life. Like, okay, wow, you can really see the difference in how they viewed each other in terms of that. I mean, and again, the mother's really, kind of only focused on Sebastian's, development in terms of doing business, not so much what he's thinking and what he's doing like that. She really tries to shield him from the realities of life, which I think the makeup tutorial highlights that she's looking at in the car kind of, I think, accentuates that point. The girl is putting on concealer, and I think that represents that the life she was trying to create for her son, to conceal or hide all of the life blemishes and create a sanitized world where reality only looks like you. My observation on the father is he seems to really embrace diversity and Black culture a lot more than his wife. And it's clear that he's very, very fascinated by it. Like the episode starts with him running to a current hip hop song. And so he's obviously okay with the music. If you do get a chance, though, go back to the scene where they first leave the funeral for Sylvia and they're riding back home. There's a moment when he starts singing the Trini to the Bone song enough to where his wife could hear him. And the look of pure disgust on her face is truly priceless. Like, what are you doing? What's going on here? Shout out to Chet Hanks, the scene where he has the outcome, or he is, I guess, representing the outcome of being raised by Sylvia. Absolutely hysterical. The look on the face of his parents when he says, I'm from Tribeca, and he has that strong ass Trinidad accent. Absolutely hysterical. But in general, this was it was another fun episode. I'm guessing that we'll probably get back with the crew next week, but I do like the spinoff stories. It kind of keeps us on our toes, and it also empowers the writers to really present us with easy to digest social commentary around things that are not always easy to discuss. But anyway, what did you think of Trini to the Bone? What the hell was that airdrop photo? Sylvia was moonlighting for a delivery service or what? I got a few theories about that, but I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. I definitely want to know what you thought about this. There's a lot to unpack, but I thought it was really funny, and I'd love to know what you think in the comments.